We are live, ladies and gentlemen, and I am back from vacation. What is going on out there, West Virginia Mountaineer fans, college hoops fans, Big 12 fans, hoops from the hills fans? Unfortunately, my buddy Mountaineer Paul, my partner Mountaineer Paul, could not be here with me tonight for this live stream. He is taking care of the root cause of his allergies, which you guys unfortunately saw him dealing with last week while I was out on vacation. I appreciate Paul holding the fort down here at Hoops from the Hills for me last week while I was out, spending some time with the family, taking a much-needed break from not only my day job, my career, but also this. It's the first time since I've started doing YouTube that I did not upload any videos or anything for an entire week, actually a little over a week, on either channel, this one, nor my Couz's Corner football channel. So you guys did not have to look at this bald mug, this ugly mug, for at least a week. You probably appreciated that. But anyway, a couple things I want to talk to you guys about tonight. Number one, I want to talk about Ofri Naveh. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's a player that West Virginia is going after. I want to say in the transfer portal, I don't know if he's considered a transfer. I don't know if he's considered a high school player. He's an international player, so it's a little different setup, and I'm not going to pretend that I know how this stuff works as far as international players go. The other thing I want to talk about in the live show tonight is the schedule, the Big 12 conference schedule that came out last week, or at least the schedule's not, all the details didn't come out, but it at least showed what teams West Virginia will be playing twice, where they will be traveling to, and who will be traveling to Morgantown. I know Paul touched on it in one of his shows last week, but I wanted to give my thoughts on it. And hopefully if we have time, I want to also give you my thoughts on the Jose Perez situation. As while I was out last week, he announced that he would be returning to Morgantown and withdrawing his name from the transfer portal. I want to thank everybody for jumping in here. I already see Curtis, already see JSG88, already see Jeremy Croy. Thank all of you for coming in. They're in the chat room, and I see about 29 or 30 more, 29 or 30 others listening and watching right now. We appreciate it. You guys, if you want to make sure your comment gets read and gets seen, you know what to do. Just go down at the bottom. There's a $sign there right beside the comment box. Hit that $sign. Your comment will get highlighted. I'll be more likely to see it, and that comment will take precedence over the others in the comment section. I will try to get to as many comments as I can, but obviously, as the chat room grows, more people come in, it will be harder and harder to read all the messages. Vacation was good, Daniel Gigax. I appreciate you asking, man. Welcome. Thanks, Jacob, for the welcome. Thanks, Jeremy, for the welcome. I hope the Bob Huggins drama is behind us, JSG88. We will see. Before I get on with the show, guys, I've got to take care of some housekeeping. Got to recognize our sponsor, Dutch Miller Automotive Group. This show, this episode, this channel is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you have been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. I want to make sure to point out that they just opened a new store recently in Beckley, West Virginia, just up the road from me. So Dutch Miller Automotive is now even closer to where I live here in southern West Virginia. So the next time I'm shopping for a vehicle, I will be sure to check out Dutch Miller Automotive and see what kind of deals they have to offer. Also, want to make for those of you who may not live in West Virginia, they also have dealerships in Charlotte, North Carolina, Bristol, Tennessee, Wytheville, Virginia, and also El Dorado, Kansas, right in the heart of Big 12 country there in Kansas. So if you guys are in the hunt for a vehicle, or even if you need some service done, some service work done, go check out the good folks at Dutch Miller Automotive. They are helping Paul and I out here on our channels. Cole D says, this is Ricky Bobby. If you don't shop for cars at Dutch Miller, then if you oh, man, that's Big AA Ron is in the house. Thanks, guys. Steve Davis, Cliffhanger, and, of course, Cole D. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Now, let's get on with the topics I want to talk about. We've been on here 6 minutes or 5 minutes. I haven't even got to it yet. Let's get to it. The first topic I want to talk about is the issue of Ofri Naveh. Ofri Naveh is a foreign player. He's an Israeli player, to be exact. And he's a target of the Mountaineers right now. Now, Ofri Naveh, the best article I found on him right now was written by Ethan Bach over at West Virginia Sports Now. Ethan, and matter of fact, let me just do this. Let me just share it with you real quick. That way you guys can read it along with me, and you're not just listening to me. But here's what Ethan Bach had to say over at West Virginia Sports Now. Ofri Naveh, one of West Virginia's top international prospects, is currently participating in the FIBA U18 European Championships. Naveh plays for Israel, who is 2-1 in group play. Here are Naveh's averages through 3 games: 13.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 3.3 steals, 1 block, 28.2 minutes a game, shooting 57.1% field goals on 7 attempts a game. He's shooting 57.1% from three-point range at 2.3 attempts a game, and shooting 85.7% from the line. So he's shooting just over 2 threes a game. So he's hitting, over 50% of his threes. That's good. 86% from the stripe, from the free throw stripe, 57% from the floor. So shooting the ball really well. Let's go on with the article. There is a video in this article as well. I'll try to leave a link to this article in the description if I remember to when we're done here. But it says Naveh, who is 6'7", most recently played for Maccabi Playtika Tel Aviv's U18 team this past March, and I probably butchered that name there. In the Adidas Next Generation Tournament, Naveh averaged 8 points, 6.8 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and 1.5 steals in 4 games. During his recruitment, Naveh has heard from Butler, Marquette, Overtime Elite, Wake Forest, and others. I don't know who Overtime Elite is. I think they might be an AAU team, one of the top AAU programs in the country. Not 100% sure. I'll have to research that. West Virginia contacted Naveh 2 weekends ago and completed a Zoom call with him, a source told WVU Sports Now. Naveh has a unique play style as the Israeli native, plays like a guard, but is the size of a forward. Naveh can score at all 3 levels on the floor. And I share that opinion. I watched some tape on this young man earlier today, and he is indeed a really good player that can score from all 3 levels. Naveh turned 18 in April, so he will not be eligible for the NBA draft until 2027, which means, if my math is correct, that means this young man would have 3 or 4 years of eligibility if he comes to West Virginia. Israel plays in the knockout stage starting Wednesday. Naveh is expected to resume his recruitment following the championship. West Virginia Sports Now will keep you up to date on Naveh's recruitment. And I tell you what, guys, the smoke seems to be strong for Naveh coming to Morgantown. I can tell you that everything I'm reading, everything I'm hearing is that we meaning West Virginia, is in the driver's seat for this young man. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure if he would be considered a transfer or if he would be considered a high school player. Don't know how that works. Nonetheless, in today's world, I don't know that it really matters. But it looks like he will have 3 or 4 years of eligibility to play at the college level if he chooses to do so. I'm really excited about this young man. Like I said, I did go watch some film. My thoughts on this young man is this. At 6'7", yes, to me, he's more of a 3 because he stretches the floor a lot, likes to shoot it from the outside, is a good shooter. Now, I know Paul talked about Tosh, great question, man, and I'm going to touch on that in just a second. He's talking about the defensive end. But when you look at Naveh's shot compared to the shot of Slazinski, the gentleman, the one we signed, actually officially signed or was announced as a signee today, the other player that we're getting out of the portal from Iona and St. John's, when you look at it, Slazinski's shot, Slazinski has a very quick release. He catches the ball up here and he shoots it right. He's very quick release. Shoots it high up above his head, which I like, and he gets it out of his hand quick. Naveh's shot, he doesn't have quite as quick of a release, but he seems to be just as accurate with his shot. He catches the ball low and kind of brings it up and then shoots it. So his release is not as quick. I'd like to see him get rid of the ball a little faster. I'd like to see him not bring it down so low and kind of shoot it from up here instead of starting it down here. It's a lot easier to block that shot, but he even doing that, he still gets it away pretty quick. but I'd like to see him improve on that. Basically, his motion. I like his shot motion to be a little bit quicker. But with that said, he's an accurate shooter, so that's good. That's the most important thing. He handles the ball really well. He can score with his back to the basket, or he can drive it to the rim. He can play above the rim. He can jump really well. He's athletic, and he has good length. I like the fact he has good length. And Tosh asked about his defense. He plays really good defense. He can block shots because of his length and his leaping ability. So he is a 3, but he could potentially play the 2 if they needed him to. I don't see him as a 4 or a 5, definitely not a 5. He's more of a 3, maybe a 2, in my opinion. If I had to compare his game to somebody that's recent at West Virginia, I guess the closest thing to it would be, I would say he's a shorter version of Trey Mitchell, maybe a little bit like a Jalen Bridges type player, but I think he's better on the defensive end than Jalen Bridges was for us. I think he can shoot the ball like Jalen, but I think he's better. Potentially has the potential at least to be better on the defensive end of the floor than Jalen Bridges, especially as far as protecting the rim goes. I think he's more athletic than Jalen as far as his ability to leap and jump and block shots and that kind of thing. So, Tosh, I hope that answers your question, man. Kenny Evans, man, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you for your support here. He says, glad for good news. We need to capitalize on it for our coach, fans, etc. Go Josh. Hope our football team does great. WVU deserves better. Yeah, man, got to give it to Josh Eilert. Definitely have to give a huge shout-out to Jay Kuntz. He's continuing to work his magic. He built this roster once for Coach Huggins. Now he's having to rebuild it again for Coach Eilert. And, man, I think he's doing a great job. We were able to get Jesse Edwards back in the fold. We were able to keep the core guys like Kobe Johnson, Seth Wilson, Pat Sumnick, Josiah Harris was able to keep those guys. Yes, we lost Trey Mitchell. Yes, we lost DeConquo. Yes, we lost Toussaint. And, yes, we lost Wagee. To me, the biggest of those losses, I'd say it's a toss-up between Toussaint and Wagee. Toussaint because we needed somebody to play the backup point guard spot. And Mitchell, did I say Wagee? I meant Mitchell. And Mitchell because I think Mitchell was just a better, probably the best all-around player that we lost from that group. But, yeah, we needed the good news, man, and there's going to be more to come. This staff is, from what I'm hearing, is going to add 2 more guys. And let's remember, guys, Coach Huggins added, the scholarship limit is 13. Coach Huggins actually had added more than 13 guys on there before all these transfers took place. And he's had more than 13 before. They find creative ways to get these guys on campus. For example, they can use NIL money. Instead of giving a kid a scholarship, you give him you get him good enough NIL deals to where, I about said pay him NIL money, but that's not an accurate way to say it because the school's not paying him anything. It's all through the donors and through the collectives. But they get him good enough NIL deals, or her in the cases of females, get them good enough NIL deals to where that is enough to pay their way through college, and they can be a walk-on on the team. So that's one example of a way to do it. There's academic money that might be able to be found for some of these players if they have good academic standing. That's a possibility. That way they don't need to use a basketball scholarship on them. They can get, academic money. So that's a way they can do it. There are a lot of creative ways that they can come up with that are within the rules and that are legal to get these players money to where they might be able to get even above the 13 player limit if needed. So I like the creativity these guys are using. They're going and getting foreign players, like the Jose Perez, which Jose, I don't even know if Jose is considered a foreign player, but like the Jesse Edwards, the Kerr Creases, then the Ofri Naveh, assuming he comes. Now, Naveh hasn't committed, but things do seem to look positive for West Virginia. They did have the Zoom meeting with him, as the article mentioned, and things seem to have went well. So it does appear that West Virginia is in the driver's seat. There have been other schools after him, like I mentioned. So, West Virginia is not the only school that wants Naveh to come to their university. And yes, I would like to, Tosh mentioned the big man. I would like to see another big man come in, another 5, somebody that can give Jesse Edwards a breather. There's some stuff out there about Akuka Kook, but look, guys, Akuka Kook's not in the transfer portal. So there's not really any reason to even talk about it at this point. It's all rumor. It's all speculation. Right now, he's a player at Georgetown, so we have to take that for what it's worth. Unless he enters the transfer portal, he's not an option for us. But I'm sure Jay Couz and his staff, Josh Allen, I'm sure they're identifying guys who are in the portal, or maybe guys who are overseas or whatever, that they might be able to add to this team to improve that depth and get them what they need to, what they feel they need to be competitive. Cole, he is. I think he would be immediately eligible. I would have to get clarification from that from Ethan or someone else that's closer to the situation. But my understanding is he would basically be like a freshman because he's playing overseas. He's playing international ball, and he just turned 18 years old, and he's not eligible for the NBA draft until 2027 because of his age. So my understanding is he would be immediately eligible and would have 3, maybe even 4 years of eligibility once he's signed. But there again, I'm not 100% confident in that answer. I would need to get clarification from someone like an Ethan Bach, a Mike Casaza, a Keenan Cummings, somebody like that follows the program daily, because I honestly don't know the answer to that question. But that's a great question. But I do know he just turned 18 years old, so he's a very young player. So which is even good because that means there's a lot of room for him to grow. Maybe 2024, and it may be 2024. Maybe he comes in as part of the 2024 class. I'm not sure. I would think they would want to bring a guy in who could play now, considering they're on an interim basis right now. But we'll see. James going to UNC hurt me more than Trey to UK, LOL. Well, I understand that. Paul, I'm not going to spoil it because Paul and I do have a video planned about the Trey Mitchell situation that I think you guys will find interesting. I'm kind of giving you a teaser here about it. I don't know exactly when we'll get that video out. He and I are having a hard time getting our schedules aligned. What he's got going on at his house and his whole allergy thing, and then plus my vacation and my work and all that stuff. We're trying to get ourselves lined, our schedules lined up here. That's one of the reasons he and I agreed to do this as a team. That way, we can hopefully bring you guys consistent content, even if both of us can't be together. And, since we both have our other channels as well, it's harder to balance 2 channels. So, when one can do it and the other one can't, we can still give you guys some quality content, hopefully. But I know you guys like it better when we're together. But, hey, you know what? We appreciate you guys supporting us here either way. Kelsey says, "Hey, Couz, miss you during vacation. Hope you had a good, relaxing time with your family and glad to have you back." I did have a good time. It was relaxing a lot. It was sometimes I have to have a break from vacation, to be honest. We went to the beach. The house we stayed in was quite a ways from the beach, so we had to do a lot of carrying all of our stuff down, carrying it back up, that kind of thing, a lot of walking. And it was extremely hot down there. There's a huge heat wave going through Florida right now. Even the people who live there think it's hot. Right now, matter of fact, I have a sister and niece who is in town from Florida, a different part of Florida than where we went. But they're seeing a record heat down there. The heat index has been over 100 for like 2 straight months down there. So it's been extremely, extremely hot, even for the people my sister's even saying now, she's been saying for years she would never leave Florida. She's actually said she would consider it now. This summer has been so stinking hot. It's been miserable. It's like Superman and Batman joining forces for WVU Hoops. Thank you, Cole, man. We appreciate it. Sometimes it's nice to be back home. It is nice to be back home. Plus, it's a very long trip from Florida to West Virginia. We did drive it. My wife does the driving. She gets car sick easily when she doesn't drive. So she likes to drive, and she claims she doesn't like my driving either. So take that for what it's worth. But I'm not a huge fan of hers either. But it is what it is. But no, she does the driving, which me being in sales, I do quite a bit of driving myself. So it's a nice change of pace for me. I enjoy. I don't mind not driving, to be honest. It's kind of nice. I take a lot of passenger seat naps. But I did have a good vacation. Really had a good time. We went with friends this year. We normally go with extended family. This year we went with friends instead. They have some kids who were about the same age as ours, so it worked out really well. We all got along well. There was no drama. Had a great time together. Had a few drinks. Played some games. In the evenings. Went out to eat together. It was just a really good time with my kids, my wife, and our friends. And we went to Destin, Florida, Kelsey. Actually, to be specific, it was Miramar Beach, Florida, in the northern panhandle there near Destin, kind of between Destin and Panama City. Yes, Florida. It was Florida, Kelsey. Daniel Gigax says 72, sunny and windy on the San Francisco Bay. Inland here, miserable hot. Yeah, it's inland Florida. I bet is worse. So the wife and I are supposed to go down. Well, we've already scheduled it. We are going down in October again to Florida, but we're going to be staying in Orlando, and we're actually going to be attending the UCF West Virginia football game down there at the Bounce House on October 28th. So we've got that trip planned again. So we will be we are contemplating maybe flying the next time if we can find some reasonably priced flights. Flying is much more expensive, and we're hesitant to spend the money, but so we may end up driving it again. But, if we can find some reasonably priced flights and some reasonably priced rental cars, we may end up flying down to Orlando in October. Cole says, my account got hacked while you were gone, so any comments about you and your vacation on other videos totally wasn't me. Okay, Cole, I believe you, man. I believe you, wink, wink. Did Battle get cleared yet? No, he has not gotten cleared, not at least not that I've heard. And I actually found out today that Omar Silverio has to get a waiver as well. So there is a long shot possibility that Silverio and or Raekwon Battle may not be eligible this year. They don't seem to think it's going to be an issue, but they didn't think there was going to be an issue with Jose Perez either. So I don't believe anything until it's signed, sealed, delivered as far as those waivers go, because you never know what the NCAA is going to do. Jeremy Cross says, I think there will be more focus on passing and scoring and less on defense. I don't know. Allard says he's going to continue the Hugs defensive tradition, but he does want to change some things on the offensive end. So I'm not sure that's the case, but it could be. I think he wants to do a little bit more running get out and run a little more on the offensive side, which I will like. I like that brand of basketball. I think it may actually be more fun to watch, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you guys. At times, I thought Bob Huggins' style of offense got a little boring at times and a little stale. They went through these long scoring droughts. Obviously, the years they had Press Virginia, it wasn't boring or stale. But, man, when he got out of Press Virginia, started going back to a half-court style of play, it could get stale at times, man. And hopefully Josh Allard can have a more exciting brand of offense and score the ball more consistently than what Hugs' teams did. Scotty B. the Better King, thanks for hopping on here, my man. He says, Texas Tech conference slate is brutal. 12 NCAA tournament games, and 7 of those are on the road. Wow, Scotty B. I hadn't even checked. I hadn't checked the schedule for the other teams yet. But you do bring up, you kind of helped me segue to my next topic here, which is the conference schedule that came out while I was gone last week, which I actually think favors Western. I think it's a favorable schedule for the Mountaineers. I'm going to read an article here from Rivals, WestVirginiaSports.com or WVSports.com. Keenan Cummings, he says, the Big 12 has released which opponents West Virginia men's basketball team will square off against this upcoming season. You guys probably already have seen this. It's old news for you guys, not for me who was on vacation. But basically, the Mountaineers, they play 18 league games again. They have home and home games with Cincinnati, which is a given, right? That's your regional opponent. UCF, which is kind of a given as well. Kansas State, TCU, Texas. So they have to go to Kansas State. Kansas State comes to Morgantown. Same with TCU, same with Texas, same with Cincinnati, same with UCF. Here's the teams that they play on the road only. Iowa State, tough environment. Houston, I don't know a lot about Houston. I know they're a really good team. I don't know a lot about their environment. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Those two have not typically been the best home court environments for those squads. Oklahoma State kind of leans more towards a football school, is my understanding. don't always draw big crowds for basketball. I've even heard Bob Huggins talk about how it's one of the easier venues to play at in the league. So West Virginia's away games are not necessarily at the toughest venues, with the exception maybe of Iowa State. Then here are the teams that come to Morgantown: Baylor, Kansas, BYU, and Texas Tech. They do not have to travel to Waco to take on the Bears. They do not have to play in the fog this year, guys. West Virginia does not have to play in Fog Allen Fieldhouse. They do not have to travel to Provo, but BYU has to come to Morgantown, and they do not have to travel to Lubbock, which is another one of the toughest environments in the conference. So, in my opinion, 2 of the 3 toughest environments in the league, Texas Tech, Kansas, and Iowa State, West Virginia only has to travel to one of those sites. So I think this schedule works out pretty well for West Virginia, at least this season. Now, on the flip side of that, the following year, 24-25 season, I'm sure West Virginia will have to go to those locations, and it'll be flipped, right? I'm assuming that's how it'll be anyway, or at least in a couple of years. I'm not sure how the schedule is going to play out. Once Texas and Oklahoma leave, it's going to change again, so who knows. But at least for 23-24, this is a favorable schedule. I like the way it lines up. If there's any season that West Virginia could use a little bit of a break in scheduling, it would be this one, because of all the turmoil they've had to deal with, all the drama they've had to deal with, all the crap they've had to deal with. Josh Allen and his staff and this team gets a bit of a break, you could say, as far as scheduling and the conference slate goes. And, let's not forget, guys, they have a really tough non-conference schedule as well. Hold on, guys. I got a troll in here. Got to get rid of. Sorry about that. All right, he was banned and comments were removed. The Yates 27, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. He says, so ready for football. The disrespect is real. It is, man. It is. Definitely is. Big Lou, 13-9. I got another troll. Got to get rid of that. Yeah, when you come in here and make a comment a gazillion times, dude, you can't do that stuff, man. You will get kicked out. YouTube doesn't like that. It can actually cause my channel to get red flagged, man. So I'm not going to let you do that in here. Battle is a grad transfer. No, I don't think he's a grad transfer, Curtis. I have to go back and look at the previous video Paul and I did. I don't think he's a grad transfer. I think he had a couple years of eligibility still yet, which is why he needs a waiver, is my understanding. Now, I could be completely wrong, but if he was a grad transfer, I don't think he would need a waiver. And it's Ethan Bach and pretty much all the other media members have said that he has to have it. So apparently he's not a grad transfer. Leo Cole, thanks for answering this question for me. Overtime Elite is a professional basketball league for 16 to 20-year-olds based in Atlanta, Georgia. Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Leo. I had heard of Overtime Elite, but I wasn't sure. Guys, I'm going to be frank with you. Outside of college basketball, I don't follow basketball that closely. I coach my own girls' travel team, an 8th and 9th grade travel team for girls. So I'm honed in on what they do, and I'm honed in on college basketball, especially West Virginia and the Big 12. Outside of that, guys, I do not follow basketball that closely. I don't watch the NBA anymore. I lost interest in the NBA when Michael Jordan retired. It doesn't appeal to me. The style of play doesn't appeal to me. So I apologize for maybe not being the most knowledgeable guy in the room. So Leo, I appreciate you. That's why I lean on you guys, man. I never claimed to be a genius or know it all, so I'll lean on you guys. My friend Outlaw College Football, who has his own channel, he likes to say, the common Joes and common Sallies in the know, and that's what you guys are out there. So, yeah, we're not going to the Fog this year. You're absolutely right. Let me see what comments I've missed here. All right, guys, I got 98 people in here. It's impossible for me to see all the chats. If you want to make sure your chat gets read, make sure you drop a super chat. That also supports the channel. What is the deal with all the trolls tonight, man? This is crazy. I've never had this happen before, not to this level. I'm going to assign me some moderators, and me and Paul are going to have to get us some moderators, and I guess. Scotty B, the 13-9 he was referring to was Pitt fans always like to tout 13-9 because in 2007, that was the score of the game when they beat us to knock us out of the national championship. That's what 13-9 was referencing. And I don't mind somebody coming and talking trash, but when you come in and type it over and over, type the same comment over and over and over and over and over again, that's trolling, and that will get a YouTube chat shut down. You can't do it. Mod right here, no life besides WVU. Yeah, I need to create a few mods. Well, I haven't done that on this. I've got a couple on my football channel. I don't have any on this channel, so we need to do that. Don't let Couz lie to you. He was on the 2008 Celtics championship team, number 44. Look him up. Wore it for Jerry West. Oh man, I wish. You made it big when you have trolls. Seriously. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's annoying. It's annoying as crap. I know that, but it happens, man. It's part of the gig. Battle transferred to MSU after 2 seasons at Washington. He would have to graduate from Montana State this spring in order to be eligible to play immediately as a graduate transfer at another school. Thank you, Curtis, for that info, man. I appreciate that. See, guys, I love it when you guys answer the questions that I can't answer or at least aren't 100% confident in answering. Some of this stuff I should know, guys, but I forget some things occasionally. Thank you all for volunteering to be mods. I appreciate it. Thanks for the welcome back, Billy. Appreciate it. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, Jonathan says he's 20 minutes from UCF. Welcome to stay here for the game while you're in town. Maybe you can do some live shows from my patio. Awesome, Jonathan. I appreciate the offer, but the wife and I are actually going to be there for 4 or 5 days. We're coming down, spending a few days, just the two of us, kind of a little getaway. We did it last year as well and really enjoyed it. And so we've already got a room and everything lined up, man, but I appreciate the offer. I really do. It means a lot, you guys, reaching out to me, making those kind of offers and things like that. Caleb Davis, $5 super chat. Caleb in the house. We appreciate it. Caleb, he says, do you think we need another big man? Do you think we will be weak at the forward? Or are we going to go 4 guards? I do think we need another big man, and I think the staff is on the hunt for one, to be honest with you. I don't know who that's going to be. I'd like the kid they brought in. Oh my gosh, his name has totally escaped me. The one they just announced today. Holy crap, man! I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Anyway, the transfer from Iona that they announced today. I think he is going to be a 4. I think he can be a 4. He's not a 5, I don't think, but I think he can be a 4. But I think they do need another 5 that can back up Jesse Edwards. I'm sure they're in the market for one, probably, if I had to guess. Also, as far as weak at forward, I don't think we will be. I'm pretty happy with the guys we have. Bringing in the guy that I just talked about, Quinn. Yeah, Quinn. Bringing in Quinn is going to help with that. He's going to help that position. I think he's a really good player. I think if we can get this kid from the Naveh kid from Israel, I think he's a really good player. He's younger. He's going to be younger than Quinn, but he is a good player. Quinn Slazinski. Thank you, Curtis. I just said his name earlier in the show. I just had a brain fart, man. But anyway, so thank you for helping me out. Everybody please hit the like button. Thank you, Rich. Everybody please hit the like button, man. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Helps get this thing out to more people. Even once the live is over and it's posted as an on-demand video, it still helps. All the likes help. But it'll help it to continue to get traction. But yeah, I like Slazinski. I like Naveh if we can get Naveh. So yeah, I mean, I think Jose Perez can play the 3 if we need him to. I think he's more of a 2, really, but he can play the 3 if need be. And look, I think Josiah Harris has the potential to be a really good player for us. I really do. We still have Kobe Johnson. We still have Pat Sumnick. I think those guys have promise. Kobe Johnson played most of the year injured last year, so he could break through this year potentially. I think Pat Sumnick showed some signs of being a good player. We can't forget about those guys. They are still on the team. And I do think they're going to go out and get at least one, maybe two more. The biggest position I'm concerned about now is the 5. They really need a backup for Jesse Edwards. I don't know that Pat Sumnick's a 5. I think he's more of a 4. So I'm not sure he's prepared to do that. I mentioned earlier needing a backup point guard after losing Toussaint. I think they satisfied that when they went out and got Jeremiah Bembry from Florida State. I think even though he's tall, he plays the point guard spot or can. I think he can cover that. And I think even Jose Perez could potentially play the point if you need him to. He does handle the ball really well. Are we going to go 4 guards? I think they have the potential to go 4 guards because we have so many guys, or at least maybe 3 guards, maybe a 3-guard lineup at times. 4 might be a stretch unless you consider. But here's the thing, though. It depends on who you're calling a guard. Our guards are going to be longer than normal. Jeremiah Brimby, 6'9". He's a guard. You've got this Naveh kid. If we get him, he's a 6'7" guy. He can play guard or forward. You've got Jose Perez, a 6'5" guard. We could play 4 guards on the floor and still have all of our guys, most of our guys at 6'5" or above. That's the beauty of this team. I don't think they're going to be put in a box to where they have to play guys at certain spots or you've got to have a 4 and a 3 and a 5 and a 2 and a 1. I think they're going to be able to mix and match lineups really well with this team because they have so many guys who can do so many different things and who are so versatile and can play multiple positions. That's what I really love about this team. Yeah, Curtis, he is putting up good numbers. Naveh is. Caleb says you can play 3 guards, but you have to have the shooters for it. The Warriors play 3 guards a lot. Yeah. Thank you, Chris D. I appreciate your support, my man. Just dropping by to say what's up to Chat and Couz. Can't wait for football season. Feeling optimistic. I am too, Chris. I told Paul the other day, even though most of the storylines now in the offseason are around basketball, my mind is really starting to shift more towards football because we're getting so close, man. August 1st rolls around. These guys start hitting fall camp. It's in the air, you know what I mean? But anyway, back to basketball and answering your question, Caleb. Yeah, I don't think they'll go 4 guards necessarily on paper, but I think we might go 3 guards and then a 4 who has guard skills, if that makes sense. We've got a lot of guys who might not be quote-unquote guards but have guard-like skills, and I think that's important. Cole says, Pat always got some praise from Huggins, just never any real minutes. But I think Hugg said he's a guy who works constantly and never has to be worried about it. Yeah, he does. He worked hard. Pat's a hard worker. Seems to be a really good guy as well. So I think he brings a lot to the team. And, I respect these guys that are I appreciate these guys who are really loyal, man. It really means to me as a Mountaineer fan, it really means a lot to me that these guys are hanging around and are being loyal to the team. And the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is Jose Perez. Jose Perez announced last week he will be returning to the team. Has withdrawn his name from the transfer portal. There's a lot of things being thrown around about Jose as far as why he, was this just a leverage move for him to try to get more money? Put his name in the portal, start getting NIL offers, whatever, and then bring those numbers back to West Virginia with never really having the intent to leave, maybe. And maybe he did do that. I don't know. As fans, we like to dog guys who do that, but let's be honest. Jose Perez is a grown man. He's 23, 24, maybe even 25 years old. And he's very good at all the highlight videos he puts on Instagram and stuff. Jose Perez markets himself really well. He's really active on social media. Maybe he was using this as an opportunity to get more money. And if he was, it's hard to fault him for it. Yes, we can get mad at him for doing it. I don't like that being part of the college game, but is it really the player's fault that they've been put in that situation to be able to do that? All of us would probably do the same thing, It's a business. You're right. Exactly right, Cole. Or did he really was he really seriously considering leaving West Virginia because of all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, all the turmoil? This is just me totally speculating here. I have no source or no knowledge of this, but my gut tells me that he never really intended to leave or wanted to leave because number one, he would have to get another waiver, I think, unless he graduates this summer, which maybe he will. I don't know. Somebody answer that in the comments if you know for sure. But he would have to be a grad transfer to transfer again without a waiver. And we all know he had a hard time getting a waiver. And I doubt, excuse me, guys, it wasn't very professional, but it just slipped out. He would have to get another, and we all know guys don't like, I mean, he's already transferred, 3 times? I'm sure he doesn't want to do it again unless he has to. So my gut feeling is that he was just using this as a leverage play to get a little bit more money from West Virginia. And I heard through the grapevine, I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but I heard through the grapevine that he did indeed get more money for doing this. He was able to get himself a little bit better NIL deal, so more power to him. If it works out, great. I just hope he comes out and balls out and ends up paying off for us. I think this was a huge move. I think this is a huge move for Jay Couz and that staff. And then, Coach Eilert and the staff, for them to get Jose Perez back in the fold, because let's remember, guys, taking the off on the court ability away for a second, which he has, by the way, just taking that out of the picture for a second. Jose Perez was highly responsible for helping to recruit a lot of these guys to the team this offseason. A lot of these transfers like Jesse Edwards, Kirk Creesa. He was, Silverio. Him and Silverio were reportedly really close friends. He was responsible for helping to get a lot of those guys on campus and on this team. So he has the potential to be a leader of this team and a guy who's kind of a glue guy, so to speak, or to help be the glue to help hold this team together. So him leaving would have been a little bit of a bad look to a degree because of the him being so heavily involved in that recruiting process. So to me, just from a perception standpoint and from an optics standpoint, I think Jose Perez deciding to return to Morgantown and stay on this team is a really, really big and positive news for this program. Then you add in the fact they landed the Slazinski kid or guy, I should say, young man. They got the Bembry transfer from Florida State, who's a good player. They now are really, really seem to be in the driver's seat for this Naveh kid from Israel. They're still in the hunt for one or two more guys outside of that. So, look, I really, really like what Jay Couz. Jay Couz is an absolute superstar. If you guys are on Twitter, go check out Trilly Donovan. Trilly Donovan, who has been the guy really breaking a lot of these stories for West Virginia during the offseason. Really does a great job of covering college basketball. Go check his Twitter account out, Trilly Donovan. He put a tweet out today praising Jay Couz and talking about how I'm paraphrasing here, but talking about how he's a superstar and a great job he's doing and whatnot. And I don't think you can argue with that. It's not even arguable in my opinion. He's an absolute superstar when it comes to managing this roster, going out and finding the guys they need, getting them on campus, and then closing the deal when they get there. But you got to give Eilert and the other guys credit as well. And then also, but I don't want to forget about, Country Roads Trust plays a huge role in this, helping to retain these guys, the guys that could have left and didn't. They helped retain them, getting them NIL deals. And let's be honest, NIL plays a part in recruiting. And I'm not saying it's pay for play, but if they know that these deals are out there for them to get once they sign, they're more likely to sign. That's how it works. They're like, hey, here's the kind of NIL setup we have. Here's what you can make. Come to Morgantown. They can sign, then they go out and get the deal. At least that's my understanding of how it works. That's really the NIL 101 version, so to speak. Is pay to play happening? I don't know. Maybe it is, but I'm not going to sit here and accuse anybody of doing something illegal. It's not my place to do that. But it's my understanding that everything West Virginia is doing is within the rules. The thing is with NCAA now and college sports, the rules are so vague. It's almost like there are no rules anymore. To be honest, there's so much gray area now. What's really against the rules, Kelsey says, what do you think? You feel we are better or worse off or the same as before all the hugging stuff? Because I honestly feel like we've gotten better. I don't want to. I don't. I think it'd be. I think it would be overly. I don't think it would be fair or objective for me to say they're better, because I think losing Joe Toussaint's going to hurt. I think losing Trey Mitchell's going to hurt. But other than those, I don't think. I think, and no offense, I loved Okonkwo and I loved Wagee. You can tell Paul early on in the season, Mo Wagee was my favorite player on that team. I loved the kid. I loved the way he hustled, the way he ran the floor, the way he worked. He had a great attitude. I loved that kid. But when you look at the skill set and the ability of the players we've brought in to replace him, like Slazinski, for example, Slazinski is a better player than Okonkwo and Wagee, in my opinion. I don't know how you can even argue it at this point. Now, some may. Now, Wagee may have a higher ceiling, but he wasn't there yet. Slazinski can come in today and contribute, in my opinion, can come in and contribute at a higher level than what Wagee could have, than what he was ready to contribute, if that makes sense. Same for Okonkwo. And if we can get Naveh in the fold, a guy who can block shots and help protect the rim, even at 6'7", that might help a little bit as well, overcome the loss of Okonkwo. I still would like to see him get at least one more good shot blocker or one more guy who can protect the rim that's a little, bigger than 6'7", a guy who's around 6'9", 6'10", even 6'11". I'd like to see him get somebody like that to help back up. I've talked about it multiple times already during this show here tonight. I'd like to see him get a backup for Jesse Edwards that can help protect the rim on defense. I don't think that's really Slazinski's game. He's not bad on the defensive end, but I don't think he's a big shot blocker. At least not from what I've seen. But he can play defense. From everything I've read about the guy, he can play He is pretty good on the defensive end. JSG88 says he feels like we've dropped a little bit. Yeah, I do think so. But here's the thing. This program looked for a few days or a couple of weeks like it was going to go into the dumpster. So for them to be where they are right now, going out and getting Jeremiah Bembry, going out and getting Quinn Slazinski, going out and securing Jesse Edwards, securing Kirk Risa, getting Jose Perez to withdraw from the portal, all of these things combined for a program that is in such disarray like they are, for them to pull that off, it's pretty remarkable, in my opinion. And I'm telling you what, whatever Jay Coons makes, which I don't think is very much, to be honest, I think he needs a massive raise after this season's over, because the guy is if we don't, somebody's going to steal him away. This guy is now becoming he's making national headlines. He's got national guys talking about how great of a job he's doing as the director of personnel, or whatever his title is there at West Virginia. He's making national headlines now. He's doing such a remarkable job of holding this thing together for Coach Otter and his staff. And if West Virginia doesn't pony up, now he's a West Virginia guy. He's a West Virginia alum. He lives, breathes gold and blue. But we all know it's a business. These coaches have aspirations of moving up the corporate ladder, just like most people in a position like that. He may even want to be a head coach one day. Who knows? I don't know what his aspirations are. But West Virginia needs to do whatever they have to do to keep Jay Coons on that staff, in my opinion. I don't care who they hire as head coach, whether they keep Eilert, whether they go out and hire John Beeline, whatever they do. They have got to keep Jay Coons on that staff, period, in my opinion. I don't care if you have to pay him, make him the second highest paid coach on that staff, you do it. That's how I feel. That's how strongly I feel about Jay Coons and the job he's doing there. And I think most WVU fans would agree with me, to be honest. Curtis does. James is averaging about 12 right now for England, about 2 blocks a game. Yeah, James' ceiling was really high, and so was Mo's, in my opinion. But I just don't – and maybe they would have performed better in Eilert's system, or maybe not. And look, let's not forget, guys, we always blame the players when they leave. But let's not forget, guys, sometimes a player transferring is sometimes a coach's decision too. Look what Deion's doing in Colorado. A coach can tell a kid, hey, we may not be a fit for you anymore. This may not be the place for you. You may be better off going somewhere else. That I'm not saying that happened. I don't know if it happened or not. I'm not privy to that inside information. I'm not in the room during those conversations. As a matter of fact, I doubt anybody is other than the player and the coach. But those conversations do happen. Colorado is just a lot more open about it, but they happen. Let's be real. A coach can encourage a player to transfer. I don't know if that happened, but it could have. Yeah, Wren has done well for the pressure he's been under. A lot of people have bashed Wren Baker. And look, it comes with the job, so it's fair, I guess. But the guy walked into an absolute hornet's nest, man. He's had the hardest job of any AD in the country already, and he's not even been on the job a year yet. Aaron Riffle Fishing says, makes me wonder if CRT, Country Roads Trust, just absolutely tapped out their funds for basketball throughout this whole ordeal. Will it hurt us for a few years to come? I don't think so, Aaron, especially if we win. If West Virginia is able to win, and as far as funds go, I mean, they just have to go out and find more sponsors, man. Go out and find more donors, more corporations that are willing to help out. Keep in mind, it's mostly donors probably, but keep in mind, if you own a business and you want to have a West Virginia athlete be a spokesman for your business, you can do that through Country Roads Trust. I mean, heck, I could do it through Country Roads. I just don't have I don't have the money to pay them. At least not yet. I will one day. But the thing is, there's companies out there that can pay these players. Look at what Toothman Ford. I don't think they're even part of Country Roads Trust necessarily, but they're doing their own NIL deals with players. That can happen also through Country Roads Trust. So it's not necessarily a matter of tapping out the funds. It might be tapping out their current donors, but then they have to go out and find more donors. That's the key here. They have to find more donors. And, even people like us can donate, become members, pay the $18.67 a month or whatever they call it. The different levels they have a membership. They can find more of those smaller level donors, things like that. There's always ways. They just have to be creative in what they do, the different ideas they come up with. And so far, it seems at least as if Stephen Ford and the team over there are doing a fantastic job of finding donors and getting organizations to come in and help, getting individual donors as well to come in and be part of it. They're trying to find creative ways to reward their members and their donors with events and things like that. I mean, they're having an event, I think, this week. Unfortunately, most of their events, which I'm not a member yet anyway. I'm hoping to become one at some point, but it's most of the events are always in Morgantown, and I live so far it would be hard for me to attend them anyway. But that being said, I think it's all about finding more donors. But it is a valid point and it's a valid concern because we all know that we're not the richest state. West Virginia University don't have the largest amount of donors out there, like a lot of these other schools do. So it is a valid concern. And it also is a valid concern is all the money being spent on basketball versus football. And I do think, and I don't even know if it's arguable that most of the donors have ponied up for basketball more than they have for football because they're so frustrated with what happened with the performance of the football team. I think is a big part of it. But if Neil Brack can go out there and win some games this year, he can change the minds of a lot of people. Guys, winning cures everything. I'm telling you, winning cures everything. If Neil Brandt can go out this year and win 7 or 8 football games, get the fan base's confidence back, show that this program is moving in the right direction, beat Pitt, if there's some positive signs, breathe some life into this football program, then people will start donating money to Country Roads Trust for NIL for football. You'll start seeing more of it. And with basketball, because of all the hard work Hugs had done in the portal, people were willing, okay, we're doing something good here. Let's go support the basketball program. And they have a Jay Coons in the fold. So, I don't know who the football person is that does the same thing Jay Coons is doing. Hopefully they've got a Jay Coons over there on the football side. They did just hire a guy today, by the way. It's not a Jay Coons necessarily, but they did make a hire today in football, a GM, a general manager who's over scouting, who has several years of NFL experience. So I'm hoping to do a deeper dive on this guy. I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. It was just announced today. I'm hoping to do a deeper dive on this guy, and if I think it's worthy, I may even do a video on it. But I'll be interested to see how that works out. To me, it can't hurt to have a guy with NFL experience. If the guy knows what it takes to play in the NFL, then he should be able to recognize talent. So let's hope that that pays dividends for West Virginia and the football program in the long run. Yeah, Curtis, exactly right, man. Exactly right. Scouting guy, Jake. I don't know if Jake Couz is a scouting guy or more. I don't know. I don't really know, man. I don't know. I guess it's part of it, but I don't think it's the whole thing. A lot of it is just relations and building relationships and building, things like that. Scouting could be a part of it, though. I'm not sure. Neil goes in Happy Valley and takes care of business. There will be 100,000 in donations that day. You got that right, man. Somebody will step up and donate. Drew Fabianich. That's right. That's the name, Curtis. Thank you, man. Drew Fabianich was hired today as a scout. Title was general manager and director of scouting, I think is what they call it, for the football program. So I thought that was a pretty interesting hire. Like I said, I'm hoping to take a deeper dive on it if I get time tomorrow or within the next few days. And I hope to speak about it on my football channel over at Couz's Corner. Guys, don't forget, go check out our friends over at Dutch Miller Automotive. They've been generous enough to sponsor us here at Hoops from the Hills, also over on our other two channels as well, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and Couz's Corner. Please go check them out when you need your next vehicle to make your next vehicle purchase. They have locations throughout the state of West Virginia, as well as Charlotte, North Carolina, Wytheville, Virginia, Bristol, Tennessee, and El Dorado, Kansas. There may even be others that I haven't mentioned. Look them up. Huntington, Charleston, Beckley, wherever you are in the state of West Virginia, I'm sure there's a Dutch Miller location not too far from you. So go check them out, guys, whether you need service work done, I've had a couple listeners chime in and say, hey, I went there for service work. They did a fantastic job. People that have bought vehicles from them, go check them out next time you're ready to do something like that. And, and if you don't mind when you do go to, hey, I heard about you on Hoops from the Hills, or I heard about you on Couz's Corner, or I heard about you on Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, whatever. So go check them out. Support them. Guys, please like this video if you haven't yet. If you're just now hopping on or if you've been on for the whole show, give me the thumbs up button before you get off of here. And if you're watching this on the replay, on the on-demand side, if you missed the live but you're watching it back, the thumbs up button still helps. It still helps the algorithm. The algorithm never stops. As long as you're hitting thumbs up, making comments, don't forget to drop a comment below. Even if you're not live but you're watching the replay, comment in the comment section goes a long way to helping that algorithm. Subscribe to the Hoops from the Hills channel here, guys. We love to bring you West Virginia Mountaineer basketball. We may occasionally touch on a topic that's outside of West Virginia, but maybe affects the Big 12. When we have time, we like to try to do that as well. Please do that, guys. You got us to 1,000 subs already. We really appreciate it. We're only going to continue to grow from here. As far as I know, guys, this is the only channel out there that I know of anyway. If there's another one, correct me. Well, this is the only YouTube channel dedicated 100% to West Virginia Mountaineer basketball. There's a lot of other channels out there that cover West Virginia sports, even our football channels included. But we're the only one 100% dedicated to West Virginia Mountaineer basketball. You won't find that anywhere else, guys. So we ask that you support that here. If you're a West Virginia Mountaineer basketball fan, this is the channel for you. We have some things working behind the scenes that we may add to the show. I don't want to give it away yet because it may fall through. Don't know yet. There's just some things. Paul and I are having some discussions about some things that we might be able to do later on that will make the show even better. We really think this show has potential to blow up and be a really great show and be a big show. And it's already, we already get a lot of positive comments from people about it. Leo, man, there should be a super chat button. It should be at the bottom. There should be where it says comment. It'll say post a comment or maybe say something, and there's a little $sign right beside it. Click that $sign, type your comment in, and then choose whatever amount you want to donate. It should be somewhere there at the bottom. And to be honest, it really depends on what if you're watching on an iPhone or a Samsung or your laptop or TV, whatever, it may be different depending on how you're watching it too. And if you're watching it on TV, there may not even be the option to do it. I don't know. It's kind of funky. I've heard people say when you watch these things on TV, sometimes you can't donate and do things like that. So I don't know. But nonetheless, guys, enough about, I'm not trying to brag about us or anything like that. I just want to kind of let you know what we're doing, what we have in the works for you guys. We are trying to find new and inventive things for you guys to make the show fresh and new and different. And to provide you something nobody else is providing you. And hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we're already doing that, and hopefully we can continue to build on it. But guys, listen, it's been right at an hour. I really appreciate everybody hopping on here. I appreciate everybody, all the likes, all the comments. I appreciate the super chats. We appreciate the just for watching. Everybody that's watching, we thank you. All of that helps us out. We really appreciate it. Jeff Barnes, I think so. I haven't seen you on here before, Jeff. I appreciate the comment, man. He says, are all the new and returning basketball players, including Perez, working out together every day right now? I think so, Jeff. As far as I know, I've seen a few photos or videos on social media here and there. But as far as I know, they are. But since I'm not in Morgantown, it's hard for me to answer that directly. We're hoping to get Ethan Bach on the show at some point. Maybe he can answer some of these questions for you guys better than we can. Jonathan says, let me know if you want a mod. Great show as usual. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it, man. The way the mods work, man, if we're going live directly from you through YouTube and not using any other app or site, I could click on your name and make you moderator like right now. But where we use StreamYard, StreamYard doesn't give you that option. So I would have to go in and manually add someone as a mod. Somehow or another on my YouTube channel page. It's a little bit of a harder process, but StreamYard allows us to do so many things, like put the graphics up, just gives us a more professional look, allows us to put up the scroll at the bottom, the banners and things like that. You can't do that strictly with YouTube. You have to have a platform or an app or whatever. Yeah, Leo, it didn't pop up, my man, for some reason. Let me see. Yeah, it didn't pop up. Now it might in a minute, but so far it has not. All right, guys, listen, I'm getting choked up. Something got in my throat or something. So I'm going to call it a night. But I really appreciate everybody again. I'll try to answer this real quick. Starting five come fall, probably this is totally off the cuff. This is all assuming Raekwon Battle gets his waiver. I think it'll be Kerr Kriisa, Raekwon Battle, Jesse Edwards. Man. Probably Jose Perez, and I'm going to say probably Slazinski. But hey, Seth Wilson could step up and, they say he's been shooting the ball extremely well at practice. Omar Silverio is a good shooter. If he gets his waiver, he could step up. But that just off the top of my head, Kriisa, Battle, Perez, Edwards, and Slazinski. That's just totally off the top of my head. But yeah, that's my early prediction as far as who the starters will be. Well, guys, thanks again. I'm signing off. I'm actually going to do it this time. Thanks again for tuning in, and we are out. I'm out, guys. And like I said, Paul's trying to take care of his allergy issues. Hopefully, he'll be back with us very soon. Take care. Good night.